Hi, friends. Pages like these have already lived an entire life, and today we're going to give them a second one. Hi, it's Carrie from Created Me Creative, and welcome to my cozy little corner. It's a bright sunny day here in the studio, still a little chilly outside, but I have my fireplace going, I have a hot coffee to the right of me, and it just feels like the perfect day to sit down and create together. But before we get started, I do want to say a heartfelt thank you. There are so many new friends joining us lately. So I'd like to say hi to a few of you who have left comments. Lori at Enchanted Dreams 7166. Nimbaza, I'm not sure if your first name, what your first name is, but Nimbaza is your handle. Teresa at Teresa Cogswell 3679. And of course, there's Mary from I Love to Journal and Tina from Touch of Serenity. I also had Pam from Silver and Sparkles pop on by, so hello to you. And Kathy from Raven Vintage, my friend Kathy. I hope you're all doing well, and I'm really glad to see you all here. All right, let's gather some book pages and we will continue with our stash series, Easy Stash Builders, stuff to add to our journals, Saul's Headache. And these ones are just as easy. I did a couple of prototypes and they are totally different feels, but both of them are super easy to do. So I'm just going to set those off to the side. I have an old Reader's Digest here, and it is already cracking. And I'm not going to rip this one apart today, but I just wanted to show you that some of these papers here, especially these end papers, they make such great journal cards. The front flag is always thicker. And then this second page, it's blank on the back. It's perfect for a journal card. And then we just cover that. That's what I've done with this one here. The title is actually underneath the washi and the music paper, and I just decorated it, and look at that, like it's a perfect little journal card. So don't think that you can't make journal cards from book pages. The other thing I like to do with the book pages is sometimes I will go through and I will cut out certain little words and sentences. The Good Earth, that would be a good one to cut out and use for a sentiment. I'm sure there is a ton more. And when I am kind of, not in the mood for creating but still want my hands to be busy, I will harvest one of these old books, and sometimes I save the pictures, sometimes I'm cutting out words, sometimes I'm just finding those papers that are blank like this that we can create with. And today, set that over there on the floor. Today we have a few of those from another book that I have harvested already. So I have this one. It's just got a great feel. It's got a ragged edge on it. And so we may use that one. And then this one is that, actually, there we go. That little bit thicker. So maybe we'll work with that one. Not sure which one yet. I do have some other, I have some vintage old, like look how brittle and old that is, music paper. And then I have also taken a dictionary page, and it was out of the back of the dictionary. So it's actually cities all over the world in alphabetical order. And I have backed that onto a piece of, it's dot grid paper. So it will make a nice writing space. And we will trim that down. And to decorate, I have got washi. I've got a couple of little frames here. I do have the wax seals that we made a few weeks ago. I've got some other little embellishments, some florals, some tickets, and a couple of cute little Tim Holtz paper dolls, a little boy and a little girl. Aren't they darling? Oh my goodness, they're so cute. And yeah, we're just gonna decorate and have some fun. I also have a napkin, and I got this big stack of 32 napkins for $3 at our local Dollarama dollar store, and I just loved the colors. So now I did do this one that way, so we're gonna do that together for another one. So let's start with that because I already have this together. And okay, I have some tape. And I am just going to stick it on that top layer and then pull back, and it should bring the napkin with it. There it is. Now the other thing you can do with tape, now that I have the tape here, I'm going to grab that book that they just had. If you wanted some words just randomly in a spot, like a washi tape, you can just use your regular tape and then just throw some glue stick across it and use it as washi tape in your journals. So let's peel this back. This is a 3-ply. I actually like keeping the layers. I find sometimes it's nice when you just want a little bit of tissue kind of bunched up as part of your layering in a collage, that the white is nice. And you could probably, you know, use your, we've got 2 full layers. So this one's white. This one's middle layer has actually got just a little bit of the faint, I don't know if you can, the camera's, there it is there. Just a little bit of the faint floral on it. So that would look really nice as a layering piece. And then you could just use your inks or, yeah, you could use your inks to distress it. So I am going to just cover this paper with glue stick. Now, I'm not going to put glue stick on every single bit. I'm going to put glue stick on most of it, but I'm not too concerned about covering all, because I want this one to look kind of like old layered wallpaper. And I will show you, cover that back up so it doesn't dry out. Put that on top and spread it out. And there will be places where I don't have glue, so I'm going to actually make it look see how it's peeling there? And right there. A little bit there. I kind of like that look, and I'm doing it on purpose because I have a project coming up that I will be sharing with you next week. I will be starting it. And that project is going to require a few things that just have a little bit more of a distress, layered kind of look. All right, let me just gonna cut away the extra here, and then we will decide on a size for this. I love using napkin to decorate because it just gives such a pretty layer with very, very little effort. Of course, I have it all stuck to my fingers. So you can see here where it's pulled back a little bit, down here a little bit too. Like I said, it's almost like layers of wallpaper have been pulled back. So what I'm going to do is grab my trimmer and we will cut this down to an appropriate size. So let's trim off an edge there, make it all square. Let's see, typical journal page for the journal that I'm going to be making next is going to be 5.5 by 8.5. So let's go with a journal card that is 4.5 by 6. So I'm going to cut some off the bottom. Did I say 4.5 by 6? I think I did. So that's 4.5 wide and 6 tall. And I won't get rid of these bits because that could easily become a belly band across the center of a page, going so that you tuck in this way. This one would definitely be able to layer it up either as a page edge or as a belly band running up and down. And one more. So I'm going to keep those. They won't go to waste. And then I'm just going to rub a little bit more off. I know that it's not fully glued. There we go. We've got that vintage kind of peeled, layered, and I'm going to use a corner rounder. There we go. Now when I created this one, I actually put the heart around specific words. It's hard to read them. The one word says chic. So, and then there was this cute little bird over here, a chickadee, right there. It's hard to see under that little pink flower, but that's what my purpose on that one was for. So this one, there's not really anything specific on it. I do have a couple more frames here. Maybe we will use the turquoise. Actually, I don't think that shows very well. This one shows better. Could do it that way. So that would be nice. And could add a flower. What I'm gonna do first actually is ink around, and this one I'm gonna ink in the Victorian Velvet. I've got an edge I noticed when I was inking that's loose, but I'm not sure. Oh, it might be there. Yeah. Now, do I want to rip it or do I want to? I think I'm going to tear it so it looks like wallpaper again. Just like that. That's fun. There we go. You don't have to do that if that's not the look that you want. If this napkin had a bigger floral, you can kind of cut around, or there's the trick where you use a wet paintbrush or a water brush to go around a certain image. But because all of these florals are so what I would call a ditzy floral, I opted to lay the whole thing down. So think I really like that. I don't want to, oh, maybe I'll come in kind of here and pick up on the fact that that paper has ripped away. Maybe. Oh, what to do? Where would you put a frame? Actually, I kind of like it there. I'm just going to move that. Yeah, I kind of like it right there. You've got the little bit of ripped off on there and then right below the frame there, so it allows. And then maybe, I don't know, that flower kind of disappears. I need something darker or lighter. I think that's why I picked the white one the last time. Oh, I like that. It's the same leaf as that. So let's do it kind of almost like a shadow. Yeah, let's do that. I love that we can just use old book pages to be able to create new stuff. And, you know, some of these books have had, they've had a full life. I know the Reader's Digest books I acquired at it was a garage sale, and by the time I showed up, they were taking the box of books. They weren't sure whether they were going to take them to a secondhand store or if they were going to actually just take them to the dump. And so I feel like I have rescued these books. Well, that was a glopicle of glue, wasn't it? I feel like I've rescued these books from what could have been the end of their life. And, you know, they're falling apart, most of them, because they're from the early 50s. And so their bindings are shot. And being able to use them in this way to give them that second life is just, yeah, I know that there's so many that are like, you're ruining a book, but these books were destined for the dump. And so I don't think I'm ruining them. I think I'm giving them new life. All right, I am going to trim away the frame. Now, this one carries the same aesthetic as, I'm gonna ink where I just cut away too, so. The same aesthetic as the last one I did with this napkin. And I was so lucky to be able to find these napkins because one, I'm going to be using them for our Easter dinner, but two, I can use them for this specific project that I have coming up. And if you're good with the aesthetics, that one there reads shabby chic all over it. It's so pretty. The nice thing with shabby chic is it's got some vintage feels to it, but it's like vintage met in 80s prom dress is kind of how I would describe it. And it's a softer, more romantic, layered kind of look with a little bit of a vintage undertone to it. But vintage isn't its main. Now I'm wondering, because I've got the white, if a floral, that flower goes the wrong way though, would work as well. I think no. Unless we do one of these guys. And that's going to fade away as well. I do have a slight, I don't mind that one. Let the white show a little bit more. This one kind of mirrors this floral right in here. So I think I'm going to add that. Oh, maybe that side. Nope. My glue is being mean to me. I just filled up the bottle and it's either not wanting to come out at all or it's coming out in big glopicals. Is that a word? Glopical? I don't remember how far down we were going on that. Right there. Beautiful. Oh, that needs it. So we're nearing the end of our cold season up here in Ontario, but today it's freezing. I shouldn't say freezing. It's like -3 degrees Celsius. But I'm ready for spring. I am so ready for spring. I'm ready to be able to go out for walks and, you know, open the windows and hear the birds sing. I am definitely ready for that. And I don't think we're too far away. I'm just going to look and see if there's a little word we could put on there. There we go. Look at you. Yeah, let's add that. I also have in this moment, but I think we'll do look at you. And then maybe we'll add a little bling. There we go. That's a little too green. These wax seals, when I make them, if you haven't had a chance to watch that video, the extra wax in the, move that over there, the extra wax in the warming spoon, I drop in dots on my glass mat so that I can use them as little, they almost have that flat back pearl kind of look. I'm just gonna see if that's not too bad for color. I do have flat back pearls here too that I got, again, from the dollar store. A whole roll, $2. All right, I've picked out a couple. See what I think here. That one blends too much. This one's got a little heart on it, says love. That might work. This one I'd used a button with, so it's got a little bit of a groove pattern. And then this is also one that says love in pink. The pink is pretty. I just feel like it needs one more element because I like odds, and right now we've got 4. We've got, although the 2 florals could be considered one, but we've got the frame, we've got the 2 sets, the little botanical, and then this word, which to me is 4, so it just needs a 5th one. I don't like the green. I think the green is, I might like it if I didn't have that, which is more blue. So I think we'll go with this pink one. We just have to find the right spot for it. I don't want to cover that part. Could put it up here. I kind of like that. It gives that kind of a sway. Yeah, I kind of like that. Let's do that. That's what my eye is telling me. And there we go. We have 2 shabby chic. I'm going to let that dry, and then we will move on to this one, which is clearly vintage. And I just love the feel of this paper. It just, it's got a texture to, it's not really a texture, there's just a different feel than the newness of the dictionary page, because my dictionary, even though it's falling apart, is not, it's not by any means old. So, all right, let's go with that one there. And I think this one I'm going to trim before we start decorating. Actually, you know what? No, let's do this one. Actually, we'll do two. We'll do two of this one. Oh, my trimmer is, you know what? I think I'm going to use my ruler because this paper is too fragile and my trimmer is eating it, chewing it right up. So I think I will do this instead. There we go. And again, I think I'm going to aim for 4.5 by 6. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4. That's 5. I'm going to leave that edge because it's got a bit of a patina on the very edge. So let's just trim off to make it 4.5. 1, 2, 3, 4.5. There we go. And then we'll do 6 tall. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And again, I will not throw away this piece. We can use that on the pocket to decorate. Could do a tiny little tag this way. So that will definitely get kept. Part 3. Part 2 is the one I already did. So I think we're going to do that one too, and I'll just show you how I covered it up. You don't have to cover it up if you like the words. Going to round the corners. This paper is a little delicate. It's already got a little rip in there, but again, that doesn't bother me because it's just part of that vintage feel. And I'm just using the tiniest of the corner rounding. On the Shabby Chic one, I used the biggest. So now, this one here, how I started was just swiping my ink just to kind of give it a little bit of a distressed look. I didn't re-ink the dauber, I just took what was ever on it and kind of brushed it up. Maybe we'll do this one this way from down here, just to give it that Warren look. I can get in there and really work at those little tears that are already happening. Definitely the edges. And that natural wear, when I'm working with something that I want to look vintage, I highly encourage the little tears and the rips because it just lets it look like it's lived a life, which in essence it has. It has lived a life. I think this book that I am using for this is from the late 40s, maybe the early 50s. Again, it was falling apart, and I feel like I saved it. Now, if you want it a little bit more vintage looking, you could, instead of just, like I'm just kind of skipping across the edges, but if you wanted to be more, you could get right in on the corners a little bit, bring it so that it's got that kind of a little bit more on the edge, a little bit more distressing. Gives it a little grungier look. And I am just gonna wipe that. I love this music paper. So I think we'll start with that. And then this one, I think we'll do it down here. Yeah. Oh. Maybe we'll have that. Do we want James Bland? Sure. I don't know who James Bland is, but let's do that. And then this one, definitely this side. It's got a little bit more of the notes on it. And we'll come in on the bottom over here. All right, so we've got to start. And I definitely want to use these little people. Now when I grabbed them, they were kind of sitting beside each other when I pulled it out of the package, and I thought, you know, how cute are they together? They're so cute. Make them look like they're sitting up on that music paper. I do have the other half of this frame. I could just pop it in here. We'll think about that one. Now the other thing too is I have this piece. Oh, it's just a little bit long, but I don't have to use the entire piece either. I'm going to end up covering up James's name. I think decorating sometimes is the hardest part. Trying to feel it out, keeping in the rules of thumb of odd numbers, balance. I'm going to grab some of this washi just to give this a little more anchor, I think. Maybe right like that. And I always like to throw some glue stick on it just to make sure. It doesn't take much to run it across the top of the glue. And we'll just pop that right there, just for another layer. And then I think these little ones are, actually, you know what? Now we can set them over here because they can look like they're sitting there. And then we still have our music. That's cute. Do we want both? Do we want just one? Oh, she's adorable. I think we're just gonna do her. She is so cute. Right there. Make it look like she's sitting right on that little piece of washi. Well, she doesn't have a book, so I can't say it's lost in the pages of a book, although this is a book page. Maybe we'll use that on this side. With that little frame. Let's do that. And then I'm gonna see if I have another little butterfly, or I think we're gonna put it right over James's name. I try not to overthink when I'm doing decorating like this. I just grab bits and pieces that I like. And I know what we can do. We can stamp. I still have that stamp set out from last weekend when we were crafting together. And I will use the butterfly from there. And I think we'll just put it right there like that. So let me grab... I'm going to need a darker ink. My vintage photo does not like to show up. And again, using Mary's little tip of something softer underneath when you stamp. That's all it needed. Super, super cute, super easy. And you know what? They're not overly decorated. It still leaves lots of room for writing. On this side, we've got the full back for writing on both of them. Just a little bit of vintaging detail there. And yeah. And then there was the one I made off camera. These two look like they belong together. All right, so I think that is it for today. And we've got our journal cards using dictionary page and the front page, fly page, I think it's called a fly page, of our books. And lots of writing space there. In part 1, we did our dangles. So we've got that one, and I think I have a second one here somewhere. Yep, one with a little butterfly charm. Also in part 1, we did our flowers, and we did our belly bands and our, I'm just gonna move this to the side, belly bands and tabs, all using circle punch. And then part 2, we did pockets. So we did those two. We did these two. And we did the easiest of them all, these two. So we have a good start on our stash, and lots of bits that can be used in our journals to decorate pages. Just a nice little stash there. And I've got a little basket off to the side that I am already packing these things in, just like that. And yeah, so thank you for being here. Join me next Thursday. I have a brand new project that we'll be starting together, and I'm super excited about it. And we will see you then. Blessings, take care, and we'll chat soon.